Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the IdOMUSIC podcast, and our goal and our mission is to empower and educate musicians and artists worldwide. And on today's episode, we talk to producer and one-third of Organized Noize, Ray Murray, discussing how he learned to cut mixtapes and produce early on, forming Organized Noize, and the lessons learned through fame and success. Hey, it's Sammy for another episode of the IdOMUSIC podcast, and I am so excited because I'm sitting down with one-third of Organized Noize, producer Ray Murray. How you feeling?
What's happening?
What's up?
Feeling good.
Good. So, Atlanta, man, you know, I always get really excited to sit down with some Atlanta natives and really discuss the fabric of how you guys pretty much started, what's going on with Southern hip-hop down here. So first, let's start from the beginning, like the beginning of Ray's life. How did you even discover you loved music, you loved production, you were interested in getting into the entertainment scene?
How did I what?
Discover that you even loved music. Like when that first moment you were like hearing sounds and like that you can remember.
Well, my father, you know, he had a record collection, a jazz record collection. A lot of records that we later on went and sampled, but I grew up listening to him.
Wow.
A lot of Donald Byrd, a lot of Miles Davis, Wes Montgomery. These are some of the names, Cannonball Adderley. These are the names of some of these groups, along with some War and Stevie Wonder. But, you know, we used to dance around and do all of that as kids and play the music loud. I don't know why. Something that he gave us. And eventually when hip-hop came, you know what I mean? I'm kind of older than some of y'all. So
you older than me, but
yeah. When hip-hop, you know, when I was infected with the bug of hip-hop, which is this culture that we choose to live in now, you know what I mean? I was a DJ. Well, I wanted to learn how to DJ first because, you know what I'm saying, it wasn't about rapping. It was about dancing. And, you know, and when you dance, the natural thing to go from the dancing is to, well, I need to make my music so that I can dance to it. So that kind of is how we learn I learned how to make music.
Right.
You know, making mixtapes to dance to.
Right.
My homeboys and them.
Dope. So you were like DJing parties, you DJing just around?
Parties? Nah, not really parties. Like I said, it was more like, because that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother level of confidence to be able to perform in front of someone. It's one thing to do something, you know, for yourself and for your friends and shit, or be silly at the house. It's another thing to get on stage and do that. So,
gotcha.
Nah, it wasn't really performing. It was just making tapes. It was just the technical aspects of making music for others.
Gotcha. You were selling the tapes?
Nah.
You was just doing it for fun?
I was more like a young Clarence Avant. If you want to look at him, because when I watched his movie,
the documentary,
it totally is. I feel like I am that same type of person.
Why is that?
Because he did a lot for people and didn't necessarily. He helped people who seemed to be trying to help themselves, as opposed to somebody who is trying to, you know, exploit scenarios and situations and relationships. So he was more of a helper to a lot of people's careers, ours included. You feel me? And as a motivational person over time, I think that's more powerful than the legacy of a Michael Jackson. You feel me? Who inspires all of us,
right?
But inspires us from a different kind of way. You feel me? It's like appreciating Hosea Williams. And not overlooking, appreciating Martin Luther King, but not overlooking Hosea Williams.
Right.
Understanding that it took
more than just him.
Yeah, it's not just that person that you see that is manifesting whatever the perfection is. It's all of those people that are putting together that shit that helps that shit look perfect.
Right, absolutely. So who or what inspires, we were talking about inspiration a little bit, but who or what inspires you to create? And it doesn't have to be a person, but like, you know, just generally, if you're...
that's just what I do.
I'm just good at it.
No, that's just what I do. You know what I mean? Like, you got to figure out what you do. You know what I mean? You either, well, I don't know. I mean, you know, when I was a kid, I was in a group of graffiti artists.
Oh.
Do you feel me?
You was tagging the city?
Yeah. It was a long time ago.
What were y'all called? What was the name of the group?
I might have warrants out. Guys.
Okay, we got.
You know, one of my good friends, Dr. Dax, if you know who Dax is, you feel me? He says that we influenced him. We were part of the Atlanta crew that influenced him. So this is how far back that goes.
Wow.
You feel me? But it was about 5 of us. We called it Five Kings. And as a crew, I was sort of a glue inside of it. You know what I mean? There wasn't really a leader, but it's a glue inside of it. And I just maintained that role in every group that I was ever in.
What's the importance of, like, I mean, because you talk about a group and then eventually, you know, the Dungeon family, eventually Organized Noize. What's the importance of having, like, a family or, like, a team or, you know, working with people? You got to sip the coffee.
I got to drink some coffee, yeah. Well...
or did that naturally come into play?
I'm a team player. I like, as sports, you know what I'm saying? I might have ran cross country because it allows for you to be more introspective. You know what I mean? You're talking to God while you're running. But you can't do shit by yourself. That's just a realization. And organizing or, you know, letting parts do their thing but having one goal seemed to be that's just some understanding that I got right now. So it just seems to me to work with others seems to be how to get out of scenarios and out of shit. So I learned that early on, and I always sought to find people to fuck with that were as equally minded or talented. You feel me?
Right.
Motivated.
Well, let me ask you, how did you link with Dungeon Family? How did y'all eventually bring together Organized Noize? How did that come about?
Yeah, well, you know, in the movie and all that other shit, the Art of Organized Noize, go check that out. In the Art of Organized Noize, we explained that I moved from where I was, which was in the West End, over to a more affluent black area in Atlanta, which is like the Greenbrier area, Southwest Atlanta. And I met Gip. And I was all, like I said, when I was in when I was in the West End area, we were a group. You know what I mean? I was doing music then.
Okay.
You feel me? Before I went to Southwest Atlanta. Matter of fact, I was doing so much music with people in my neighborhood, like I said, DJing and assembling mixtapes and stuff.
You hadn't quite gotten into production necessarily yet.
Yeah, well, I was messing around, but there was nobody was trying to rap at that time. This was
dance era.
Yeah, this is like, I'm looking at Curtis, let me see. Man, this is like, I'll tell you, this is like 80 fucking 3, 84. You feel me? And it was about Planet Rock and It's Time and It's Automatic and songs like that. You feel me? So those songs had a lot of synthesized voice. It wasn't necessarily somebody rapping.
Right.
You feel me? And it was dance music.
Right.
So just doing that, being triggered into that, that's one whole different thing than producing, which didn't come until later. Probably when I heard Lawan Love, you know, say, everybody say yeah. Then I said, damn, my little brother's 13, you know, 12. No, my little brother's like 8, 9. Shit, I can write some raps. Teach him, and he can do it.
Really?
Yeah, so that kind of triggered the bug a bit. You feel me?
And then going to Greenbrier, that's when you...
Then I got to Greenbrier. By the time I got to Greenbrier, like I had been doing it for a minute. That was my 12th grade year. So, you know what I'm saying? All through high school, I was doing music with my homeboys, my DJ crews. We went to Maze all the while. But I had to bust there. So all my homeboys that I grew up with were in my neighborhood, but all the cats from school, they just had equipment. You feel me? Cats was rich. They had extra shit like handheld video games.
Just all the things that you like.
Well, you know what I'm saying? They just had access to things that necessarily we didn't have in where I was at. In my place, it was more like we're going to put shit together.
Make do.
So I'm gonna take an old turntable that don't work and mix it with an old mixer that don't work. Fix it, put them together.
Facts.
Get a tape deck that don't work, fix it. Get tapes. You feel me? Like as opposed to these cats. Oh, I got the brand new shit. I got 1200s. I got this. I got that. Damn, you don't even know what to do with it.
Right.
Because we killing it over here on nothing. So when we get in this area, it was easy to expand and elaborate. So by the time I met Gip and all that other shit, you know what I'm saying? I was good at what I was doing. I just didn't have access to professional shit.
You didn't have the resources. Yeah.
Right.
So what would you say the biggest challenge was starting and like formally organizing Organized Noize, like as you three being a group?
Well, like I said, me and Gip was in a rap group. So the easiest way to form Organized Noize for us, me, Rico, and Sleepy, would be they had a group at the same time. They were you boys. We were all under a management team that we didn't really get along with. We had to break away from. And in breaking away from them, me and Gip split up as a group, but we remained friends. You feel me? Because it was like, I got to go, Ray. This guy can't manage us. You have a bit of loyalty to him that is not for me. All of that led to me saying, well, you know what? I'm not finna try to rap. I'm not finna try to be in a rap group. I'm just gonna help. So let me see. Reek, what you got? Oh, you know what? Maybe we should do this. You know what I'm saying? Because in my group, I was doing the sound, the lights, the videos. Like, it was everything. I was writing the raps. I was doing the music. I was editing the video. I learned how to edit videos in 80 fucking 8. You feel me? On 2 VCR tapes and shit and syncing shit up.
Wow.
And recording shit. So, you know what I'm saying? It's all self-taught. And it's over time, by the time we got to SSLs and everything, it was just I already understood it.
Right.
So it was just applying it.
Right. So can you talk about all three of your personalities? Rico seemed like he was the talker.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even I ran into him recently at the radio station, and he was the one primarily talking.
That's Atlanta.
Did you all talk amongst yourselves and then like agree that he would be like speak for y'all, or is that just that's just who he is? That's just how he's going to be regardless.
Rico is even though he might have been younger than me and Sleepy, his ability to take care of things was above his age, was beyond his age. Meaning that he'd been taking care of real shit, running a music store, a video store with Ramon and the beauty supply store. They were running that at 16 and 15, you feel me? Being responsible for it. So it was easy for those of us who were creative to say, damn, we need somebody to help us manage our creativity. You appear to be a manager. You manage your shit very well. You taking care of your shit. Damn, why don't you manage us? You feel me? So our friendship went from that into you are the manager of all of this, pretty much. You're the spokesperson. Of course, we sat down, the three of us, and communicated what we think is best for us.
Right.
But the one who would articulate that and be able to sell it is always Rico.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? Period. Because that's just, he could convince all of us that if we were not fully believing in what we were doing, he would be like, yeah, that shit is the shit. Let's go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Or if we were, yeah, this the shit. I don't know, cuz. Damn, for real. You feel me?
He kept it real.
He just kept it real. So it was easy for him to be the outspoken one, to be able to be all of our personalities rolled up into one.
Got you.
All of the confidence, none of the insecurities. You feel me?
Yeah, and be able to articulate that.
Yeah.
That's dope. In regards to the production, can you talk about, what each of you brought to the table? Because obviously if, bringing a super group of producers together who all have, like, I know Sleepy, dad was, kind of encouraged him to begin songwriting and singing. And you were doing this, way before even linking up with them. So what would you say y'all's roles were, and was there like a hard line, like Rico gonna do this, Ray gonna do this, Sleepy gonna do this, or it was just kind of like a little blurred line? Like, y'all just brought what you brought to the table?
Yeah, we just brought what we brought to the table in the end, because, you know what I'm saying, our personalities is reflected in our music.
And what way, how?
Like a Sleepy Brown song would be, well, it's not really a Sleepy Brown song, but it is.
Okay, I feel you.
A Rico Wade song is I can't even give you that either, because it's so many of us involved in different parts, you know what I'm saying? Who plays front, who plays side.
I understand.
And back and all of that. But Rico is more of a, his shit is all Atlanta. It's raw. It's stripped down. It's in your face. Mm-hmm. Boom, 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 boom. It's just like he talks. Sleepy is a soul, subtle, funky type of sound and production. You feel me? The same way he looks is how his sound is. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Ray is always changing. You feel me? I have a fucked up part of me that always seeks to appease people. So I'm constantly trying to find a middle ground between extremes. Whereas Sleepy may be extreme in one way and Rico may be extreme in the other. I'm trying to sit in the middle, trying to
bring it together.
Yeah, to bring more people to it. Mm. You feel me? So as a style, that's each one of us' style.
Yeah, that's a great explanation. I'm curious, did you guys have anything to do with like some of the Goody Mob and like Outkast's like vocal production?
Absolutely.
In what ways, like, or can you recall?
If you, let's pick a song.
Yes.
Like the Goody Mob, for instance. The Goody Mob, because they came after the cast, but as in the beginning, we all were Outcasts.
Right.
All of us, you feel me? Everybody put in equally into this one project to make sure that it succeeded, even though they were the face of it. But the confidence in each one backing the one before leads to everybody not being bound by what's around them. You feel me? You can be different if people don't necessarily laugh at you every time you do something that's unorthodox. So if that's the best way to explain how we supported each other vocally, and added to each other's vocal growth. Because you know what I'm saying, the Goody Mob, because there's four of them, they started becoming more like a group in an old soul group with CeeLo leading, singing, and then Cujo sings a bit, you feel me, and Gibb sings a bit, and Timo, so they would harmonize, and that became its own kind of soulful, Temptationist type of thing. Mm-hmm. And you flip the cast, you know what I'm saying, the cast, Big always led a lot of Outkast stuff. Mm-hmm. Even though Dre is the most prominent person who seemed to articulate, who seemed to personify what Outkast is, mm-hmm. It's a lot of Big Boy in that, you feel me? Because he is like me in a certain sense, Dre, in the sense of just a bit of, you know, seeking to appease sometimes and certain insecurities that stand on your sleeve. Whereas Big Boy might not necessarily radiate that. He gonna give you he gonna say, fuck it, we gonna do it like this.
Right.
Either they like it or they don't.
Yeah.
That turns into something when they get them two together. You feel me? They give each other power like that.
Yeah.
So when we talk about vocally producing cast, it's more about not confining nobody to anything, saying, yeah, let's try that. I know it sounds funky, but you know, Parliament was like that. Let's go there. Yeah, that is funky. Like, that is weird. It is offbeat a bit. It is a bit pitchy, but fuck it, let's try it. Let's see if the people can catch it. Because if you can sing it, if it's relative, if it relates to you as a non-musical person, it's better than if it's perfect.
Right.
You feel me?
Right.
We all love Whitney Houston. Mm-hmm. But we sing a bunch of Keith Sweat shit. You feel me? Keith Sweat. When we was kids and Keith Sweat came out, it was like, boy, Keith is like weird singing. Right. It's whiny. Mm-hmm. But everybody had it. Everybody could do it. You identified with it. It was easy to get into that place. So it was more relatable than something that was perfect, which is a more Whitney type of thing. You feel me? Nobody can sing that shit, but we can listen to it.
Right. We appreciate it.
Right.
Facts. What I know about, Dungeon Family, about all of you guys, Organized Noize, is that y'all were different. Nobody was coming out of Atlanta, or to this day, it was different. It was different. How did you guys manage to make that universal? Like how you said you were kind of like the person who brought things together, or you were seeking to appease. How would you say y'all were able to market that and like sell who y'all truly just were? Y'all are just doing things that you creatively wanted to do. Was it difficult at the time?
It's just, well, no, because you know what I'm saying? It's a wilderness, so you don't necessarily have no right way.
That's true.
At that time, you had, you know what I'm saying? Hip hop was so young and it was so goddamn rebellious that the rules was being made every day.
That's true.
You feel me? And the counter to what we were was R&B. You feel me? So it was easy to be more of what we were and less of what they are. You feel me? And that and if each one of us has different variances on that, well, that's even better.
Right.
You feel me? Because you got to remember now, before we brought forward the Dungeon Family vibe, you had representing Atlanta, you had some underground shit that cats in Atlanta know about, like the Hard Boys. Mm-hmm. We know about that. Mm-hmm. But you get to South Carolina, you don't know nothing about that.
Right.
You feel me? So we also, as a nationwide, you know Jermaine Dupri and Crisscross, but that's so reflective of East Coast shit that it wasn't necessarily identifiable as Atlanta.
Right.
You feel me? So
and that's why I'm saying, like, it's kind of like y'all were able to break through the mold.
That's what I'm saying, because we had so much time, one.
True.
And other examples, too.
True.
You feel me?
That's
so
true.
To not be a copycat crew, it was easy to not fall into copying shit and say, well, fuck that. We're going to be our own shit. We're going to either fail with this shit and be country as fuck and fail with it, or we're going to be some... We don't even give a fuck. Really, at the end of the day, we're just going to do what we feel.
Yeah.
And had the balls to say it.
Right. What about, like, points, your pay, your credit, in terms of, you guys being a group? Did you all just, like, divide that up equally? Did y'all have...
Yeah, because it was easy for us to once we got successful in our business, it was easy to keep it the same as it was when we were broke.
Right. Why was that important for y'all?
Well, it just was easy to do because it's three of us. It takes three of us. Neither one of the three ever thought that it was about them. You feel me? That way we can all support each other when Sleepy goes solo, when Rico goes solo, when Ray goes solo. We can support each other because it's still a whole. Mm-hmm. As a whole, we still fighting for the same things, even though we are so far beyond where we started from. We still fighting for the same shit at the end of the day, because some things that we fought against in the beginning have not changed.
Like what?
The oppression of people in America, black people in particular.
We can take it there. I'm just asking.
I'm just telling you where it's at. That's where it's at. Like, of course, if you go back and listen to the first Outkast album, everybody got caught up in the pimping and the Cadillacs. You didn't listen to what the fuck we was talking about. Mm-hmm. That's why we had to give you the goodie mob afterwards. Right. Because you didn't get it.
Right.
You feel me? Later on, everybody wants to say that you were alien and you on some otherworldly shit, and that becomes a trademark for marketing. Mm-hmm. But even in that, you lost what the fuck's going on. Mm-hmm. So then we had to come back and say, it's a world party, not a world celebration. Mm-hmm. It's one world party, meaning that it's one democracy for all of us. Mm-hmm. That's a political statement. You don't get that either.
Went over a lot of people's head.
Well, I'm just saying, when you go back and look at all of this shit, we haven't varied. Organized Noize hasn't varied from this one theme. We're dealing with social awareness. Mm-hmm. Some of it is entertaining. Some of it isn't.
A lot of it is. Describe the days of sleeping on the floor in Rico Mama basement.
That's why it's easy to keep the money the same. Because...
what were y'all,
we brothers
thinking at in those moments? Like, I'm sure there were days where you're like, I don't know. Or were there days where you're like, I don't know if I could do this? Have you ever even had another job? Have you always done music to?
No, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I did a bunch of shit.
What else have you done? What other jobs have you had?
Well, first of all, I went to college. So prior to going to college, you know,
Where'd you go to school?
I went to Albany State.
Okay, Albany.
And then I went to Tuskegee.
Oh, okay.
I failed miserably at both.
Why do you think you failed at both?
Well, when I went to Albany State, I went because my brother Wildcat went there, and I didn't know what else to do. And like I said, I was so into the hip hop thing, and it was evolving. I was so into that by the time I left school, I was also, you know, drawing. I was an artist.
Oh yeah.
A painter.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do architecture and shit. So
dope.
My father was like against that, so it led me to going to school, and that led me to having to get a job to pay for me going to school. So I flunked out of Albany State because my homeboy had a TR 909 in his room and two 1200s.
And so you was in there.
Them niggas be sleep. I'd be in there with the headphones on, making beats and turning the shit off, and come back and make another one and turn it off. Come back and make another one and turn it off.
Wow.
A whole year of that made me not go to class. Excuse me. At the same time, I wrote a bunch of things for me and Gip. So Gip is still at home. I'm writing raps and shit, sending raps home, teaching Gip how to rap, or giving him
pointers on how to
cadences and styles, because he was into it, but he hadn't. But he was young.
Right.
Feel me? By the time I went to Tuskegee, I decided, fuck it, I gotta work. I mean, I gotta get a job. This shit ain't working. This music shit, there's nothing happening in Atlanta. There's nothing happening. And I flunked out of one school, so I had to get a job. Yeah, I worked at Coca-Cola, worked at Wendy's, worked at Miss Winners, worked at Kroger.
Not Miss Winners.
Worked at Rich's.
Rich's. Oh.
Worked for the city. I rolled newspapers, put the things on, put them in the bags, fucking built houses, cleaned work sites, all of that shit.
Yeah.
So if somebody can't do something, it's because they're not motivated. That's the one thing that I know. So you got to stay motivated, whether you winning or failing. You got to stay motivated. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there's always more.
How did you stay motivated?
Because there's always more.
Because there's always more.
And then the Most High has blessed me with so much that I'm highly favored. I feel like it, you know what I'm saying? To be around so many talented people, to believe in them early, to see them before others recognize them. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like being in it's like being able to jump through time. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna jump to Malcolm X time and fuck with Malcolm. I'm gonna jump to James Brown time and fuck with James Brown. I'm gonna jump to Prince time and fuck with Prince. I'm gonna jump to Michael Jackson time and fuck with Michael Jackson. Each one of my friends are like that. Mm-hmm. And there's so many different time periods with them, you feel me? And then people that we fuck with that you might not even know that we know like that, you feel me? That we good friends, like my brother Corrupt, you feel me? Like, you know, it's a bunch of people that I don't need to drop names on people that I know that I fuck with, that we fuck with, that we said that, yeah, fuck what they said, do it. It's a bunch of that. It's more of that than it is songs that we've done with people.
Right.
You feel me? Because at the end of the day, there were a lot more people that told me I couldn't do shit, that if they had just given me a little bit of inspiration, you feel me, I may be further along now.
Right.
But that negativity, you know, it makes one have to coalesce an inner strength to go forward every day.
Right.
You feel me? So
yeah, I feel that.
With that.
I feel that. Can you recall the first moment you truly realized you could make a living off of doing what you love? Because obviously, you know, you had several jobs. You had to make do with what you could at the moment.
Well, when Parental Advisory got signed, when we met Pebbles, that was big time. You feel me? We had already, as me and Gip, and also as Rico and Sleepy as the U-Boys, mm-hmm. They had already done. When LaFace first came to Atlanta, I think it was '89. All of us went and auditioned for Brian Reed. You feel me? Club 21, Dion's Club 21. We all did that. You feel me? Wait, what was it? '89? That was 90. That might have been 90.
Okay.
So by the time we got with Pebbles, and she, some kind of way, believed in something as well as the connection with T-Boz and
Right.
Rico, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
All of that allowed us to be able to get over there with her and do this parental advisory, which was, I mean, at that time I was doing 75% of the producing. You feel me? Yeah, and I'm saying it was primarily on Ray. Ray was the one who knew all the drum machines, who sat in the studio, La Coco with Jimmy Z all day, working on this record, trying to figure out how to do East Coast hip hop in Atlanta with Pebbles, with some Atlanta cats who rap like New York cats, but you know, it was we were trying to find our way, but we had success. Mm-hmm. We fucked around and did Gusto's theme for CB4. We fucked around and did a song called Maniac. You feel me? And we had to remix Maniac. So we came in the studio. This is when we really learned how to produce. We came back in the studio and took everything off of the song. Mm-hmm. And brought Preston Crump. Mm-hmm. Played this fly-ass bass. Pulled all of this agitation of this jazz shit that was going on in the early 90s. Pulled all that shit back. Pulled this fly-ass ghetto groove on there. That's really when we really mastered our shit, when we really found it. At the same time, that shit sold. Wow. You feel me? So we got some money. Yeah. So we bought a car. Bought an Acura. The three of us.
The three of y'all bought the Acura.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Took turns driving it and shit. So yeah, after that I said, well shit, we can fucking do this. Yeah. Of course we had money because they gave us money to do the song, but they didn't give us money. Right. We just had the ability to be in the professional spot.
Right, to record it. Mm-hmm. Wow. Yeah, we had Preston on here a while ago too.
Oh, that's the man. Yeah. Preston is the man.
Yeah, he's awesome. So, I mean, you talked about how like records like TLC's Waterfalls come about. Y'all have talked about that over and over again, so I'm not gonna drag you down that road. Even though I must say that's, I mean, like you're just a part of a lot of timeless things, yes. Creations, and so I would be remiss if I didn't mention it again. But I'm curious. I mean, working with family, working with friends turned family, how that experience played out or panned out for you. Like, what are some of the things that, because I mean, we previously were just talking to Chris Hicks, and he actually was speaking about how you naturally just kind of work with your friends because that's who you know, who you trust, right? But talk about some of like the pros and the cons of like working with your friends turned family.
Well, the cons are easy.
What are those?
The cons of working with close friends and family in business is that you feel a closeness that isn't necessarily reciprocated. You feel me? I feel like I'm supposed to take care of you, even though you're not taking care of the shit that you said you was, and I'm doing my part. So that's bad. The good is that as a family, you know what I'm saying, if each one of us masters a different type of thing, if you master cutting chicken, if I master making noodles, and he masters making bread, well, we can always eat and have a good meal because we're focused on our parts. Right. We're not worried about each other's part. We're doing our parts. That's a good thing in business. Like I said, it's hard for you to have 20 and 30 year friendships. You feel me? And be in business with people. That's right. A hard thing. Right, for sure. I'm not going to lie and say that there haven't been moments where we weren't at each other's throats. Of course. You feel me?
But you got past that.
Yes, absolutely.
That's good. What would you say your favorite record is to date that you've been a part of, that you've been able to work on? Do you have one?
A favorite record? No.
No? Most memorable experience working on a record? Mm-mm. No?
It's a lot of different ones. You know, they have different things.
So?
Oh, okay. I'll give you one.
Okay.
This is one of my most memorable. Abner Luima, is that his name?
I'm not sure.
Luima got killed by police officers in New York, shot 41 times, reaching for his wallet to get his ID. 41 times by, I think, 9 cops or 7 cops. There, you feel me? We did a song with Talib Kweli and Mos Def, and went to New York and did it. I did a beat at home, and she was dope. Flew to New York to record it, Al Sharpton and all them out there.
This was like right after this happened.
Well, there was a big meeting. This is in New York, and all of the MCs in New York are there. Busta Rhymes, everybody. Everybody who was somebody at the time was there. I had the beat, drum machine. I flew up there, boom, put the drum machine down, bam, plug up, put the disc in. That tells you how old it was. Put the disc in. Oh shit, the disc corrupted. It's 50 fucking MCs in this motherfucking room.
No beat.
Everybody's in the front talking about all this politics. They already bitching about who is this South nigga down here making these beats. Fuck all this shit. So, well, we gotta go do a press conference real quick. Everybody left. Me and Najee sitting in this room. The horn player. So I'm sitting like, God damn, what am I gonna do? Fuck it. I don't know, my shit crashed. I'm talking to him, he's like, well, she just do what you feel. I got my stuff, we can just do what you feel. Well, fuck it. I might have did anything. If you go back and listen to the track now, I don't even know what it sounds like because I was so nervous. I just had to make something happen.
Yeah.
And he gave me a lot of inspiration to go on and do something.
Yeah.
So it starts out with him singing, with him playing the flute or something that we used. I didn't have no samples to use, couldn't clear no samples.
Yeah.
I had to make all the melodies with the drum machine, didn't have no keyboards.
Wow.
I just had to do everything on the spot. And then all these dudes came back in the room like, okay, play it. Oh, that's your jam. I got my part. I got my part. Well, hold on now.
Everybody got the part.
30 motherfuckers can't rap on this one beat. How long is the beat gonna be? You feel me? And of course, there was still a little bit of hating. You feel me? I think somebody said, nah, we're not gonna rap on that beat. We're gonna go over here and fuck with JD. I think, not Jermaine Dupri.
Oh. I'm like...
Is it JD? Was it Dilla? Might have been Dilla. It might have been Dilla in the other room with a beat. I remember Royce was there, 5'9", he was there. I think. Anyway, I did the beat. Everybody fucking fucked with it. I made it on the spot. I was proud of myself.
Yeah, I'm proud of you too.
That's a memorable moment because coming from where you listen to Run DMC and all these guys on, the radio and BET and VH1 and all this shit, and then you in the room with all these motherfuckers and you got to prove yourself. You feel me? That's a memorable moment.
Yeah, yeah.
It might not be my best track.
But it was a memorable moment, for sure. And it was a moment, for sure, in
Absolutely.
time. Yeah.
It was a part of us conquering the North.
Conquering the North.
Mm-hmm.
So how does it feel like being the first guys out of this established, like the original, making music then versus now? Like, describe the energy in the studio at the times, like when you fresh out, like you fresh out of, now you have the money to go to the professional studio. You know what I mean? Now you're able to pull together these instrumentalists and these vocalists and stuff. How does that energy feel like? I guess because a lot of people who listen to our podcast are indie artists, you know what I mean? They're aspiring, they're trying to get to where you are. And they haven't really reached that moment yet. So I wanted you to kind of take us back to like that initial moment where you finally have you in an ideal situation to create and do that. Okay.
Your first time being in a place where you are able to do everything that you dream of doing.
Yeah.
Don't do what they say do. Do what you feel. It's a common misconception. Most of us, when you get a job, first thing you try to do is whatever the boss say. And then everybody had to pull you to the side. Hey, man, we clean the fryers on Friday, dude. We don't do that shit every day. What's wrong with you?
Right.
You really, no, man, but he said we got to clean them every day. Man, the people don't like the chicken tasting like that. It take time for the oil to get with the... That's why they all out there. When we clean it, we don't have no sales that he don't get it. Oh, okay.
Got it.
You feel me? So if when you get that opportunity to do it, you know what I'm saying, go all out. Don't listen to the people who want you to repeat what has happened.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah.
And now in the music industry, you know what I'm saying, because I've had so much success or had success, there's still this competitive thing inside of you, but you're not motivated by the same kind of competition anymore. At first, it might have been, I want the #1 record. I want the people in the building to respect me. I want people on the street to see me and know my name. I want everybody playing my shit. You feel me? After a minute, you got to look at people like Quincy Jones and say, can I beat him? Oh, that's a goal to have. Mm-hmm. Can I beat him? Can I beat Babyface? Can I beat Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis? Can I make more artists? Can I make more hits? That's what becomes your motivation after you've had a success. You look back, you don't try to repeat it.
Right.
You try to go beyond. Mm-hmm. You feel me? You look at who inspired you and say, I'm coming after you now.
Facts. I mean, okay, so this is just for the fans that want to know. Whatever happened to Cool Breeze? You guys produced what's known to be a classic album with him, then just kind of disappeared.
Well, Cool Breeze had two things going on. One, there was a band named Cool Breeze that trademarked that name. So after we released Cool Breeze, we found this out.
Yeah, after the fact.
Yeah, so they spell their Cool Breeze the same way. So we had to change his to Breeze, and then there's another artist named Breeze. So it becomes Cool People. You feel me? And Cool People got lost in
everything.
So, you know what I'm saying? Breeze is still here, and we are working on, I'm going to tell you this now. It's cold in here, too.
I'm sorry, a cool breeze.
But I'm hot inside. Yeah, we are working on a new Dungeon Family album. We're about to start. And
you see my eyes light up?
Yeah. And everybody's going to be involved. We're a couple songs away from saying, I got a song to play.
Okay. I would like to see it.
You gonna see it.
I would like to see it. Yeah. So obviously, well, you know, that kind of ties into me asking, like, how you producing now versus then. Obviously, things have changed production-wise since you started. But let's talk about some of the great things that came out of new technology, and then I guess some of the things you don't particularly care for that maybe you still kind of apply what you learned from the foundation. Well,
you can't be ignorant, you know what I mean? And the way that we stayed relevant all the while was that we tried to pay attention to the technology and embrace it. If we had stayed on the MPC 60 or the SP12, we wouldn't have gotten to the motifs and the Tritons, which is keyboards. Mm-hmm. If we stayed on the Tritons and the motifs and MPC and SP12, we wouldn't have evolved to machine. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Plugins. If we'd stayed there, we wouldn't have evolved to Ableton.
Right.
And all of that. If you don't lose anything in your transition, which is your appreciation for live elements, your classic record collection, mm-hmm. which gives you motivation as well as examples of how to think. Mm-hmm. If you put all that together with new technology, you can stay ahead of anybody who's only focusing on one part of it.
Right.
You feel me? And that's what time allows you. The longer you do something, the more you know how to use other parts of shit. So if you learn how to play a guitar, you can apply that to a bass.
Right.
And after you learn bass, you can apply your understanding of guitar and bass to piano. Mm-hmm. You can apply all of that to drums. Mm-hmm. You feel me? It'd be harder to apply it to horns, but you could in essence. But you would have to stay motivated by the same things and just keep bringing shit forward. That's where it's at right now. So I love where it's at in terms of being able to incorporate everything. What I don't like is that a lot of people don't have appreciation for things that came before. It's just it's a hustle now. You feel me? I'm gonna
get the speed off.
I'm gonna rip that.
Right.
I'm gonna put my own shit on it, excuse me, as opposed to appreciating it, understanding it, and then say I'm gonna take it to the next level. Like right now, there's somebody out here who is studying Neptunes to the point where they're gonna make their own drums. They're gonna use that whole concept of acid house sounds against this industrial strength hip hop shit. You feel me? Smash that together. That's how we move forward. We can't forget what we started from. But you can't just run into this future as if it's a void without a past. You feel me? Otherwise, you're gonna be out here like you're gonna be a ripoff. At the end of the day, people gonna have all this information and not no understanding of how to use it.
That's true. Do you prefer a physical piece of equipment as opposed to a plug-in? And can you tell us the difference in the sound? Like, or can you tell the difference between the sounds?
It depends on what I'm feeling at the day. You feel me? I like a clavinet as opposed to a keyboard. But then again, if I got a plug-in, I can play anything.
That's true. That's true. So you appreciate both, basically.
Absolutely.
So the album, I gotta go back to the album.
Which one?
The Dungeon Family.
Oh, don't worry about that. That's just a preview. That's a peek into something that's coming. It's just, I mean, you know, it doesn't have a title. It's just something that we're thinking, something that all of us are ready to do now.
Yeah, it's time.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So everybody's involved in it in some form or fashion. Dre said he might, even if excuse me. Let me not talk.
Okay. I
want to finish what you were saying.
Because you know I was going to get it on out. I was going to get it on out of you. All right. Well, I kind of want to get into something a little deeper if you don't mind.
Let's go.
So I thought about this because New Future came out, and I know how y'all were very involved in like where he is today. To see him, how does that feel to see him like see such success from, you know, like stardom? You know, like I remember watching him back at Howard when I was in undergrad, and he had Tony Montana out. And, you know, I'm from the city, so we all in there. Nobody else is in there. It's just us. And we like, Tony Montana. Like, we lit, you know? But to see him go from that to, like, everybody knows who Future is now, how does that feel knowing that you know, were able to bring that up?
It's the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's just like when CeeLo did Crazy, and it just went around the world. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. He's just proud as a friend, as a brother, as a cousin, as a DF member,
right?
You know what I mean?
And you said applications are closed for Dungeon Family because I was gonna put mine in.
Well, I mean, you know, Dungeon Family is. A lot of people ask me that too. A lot of people say, "How do I become a part of the Dungeon Family?" You can't really be a part of that group, but you can be a part of the family that is the Dungeon. Right. You feel me?
Yeah,
if that is,
it makes sense. I wasn't with you shooting in the gym. That's what that means.
Well, just, you know, everybody can't be on the championship
roster.
Golden State team.
Understood.
You can be on the team now, you feel me? But that team with them guys, they got the trophy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a whole different squad. It's a bunch of niggas playing with the Bulls right now. None of them niggas is standing around with Jordan. Yeah, they played on the same squad where he played at, you feel me? But
it ain't quite the same. Right.
And then in perpetuating something, there's so much room for new things. The Dungeon was a specific time and a specific group of individuals that had to do a specific thing. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Atlanta is so much more diverse than that now. You feel me? So we don't have to perpetuate that forward. That can be in for its particular time and space.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like Def Jam in the 80s.
For sure.
You feel me?
Yeah. So going back to Future. So I know that you guys briefly talked about drug addiction and documentary, and just like in past interviews and things. But I wonder how you feel, especially in today's climate where it's really just glorified. Like we hear people and I'm not using Future as an example. He talks about the effect of it, but like a lot of artists, they glorify it to these kids, and it's like, you know, how do you feel about it, and how it played a role in your life as an artist or a producer, or what you've seen around you? What would you say?
Well, you can't. You any artist can do whatever they feel. You should do that to the fullest. If you want to smack bitches around, the only thing we can't tolerate is abusing children and the promotion of rape. You feel me? But any other thing is a creative thing and it's art. Now, there's always a barrier between what can be done and what can be shown to others. This is where the breakdown is at. The breakdown is the radio DJs and the radio station program directors and the TV video program. This is where the breakdown is. See, there's nothing wrong with making shake club music, but you don't play that shit all day. It used to be certain things played at night. I mean, when we were kids, we didn't know nothing about Blowfly. You know, Blowfly made terrible songs, but they fit who he was talking to. You never heard this shit because the covers and the the themes are not appropriate for radio. But he was able to do them. He got a following. People go and see him. I applaud that. You should be able to do anything that you want, but you can't play anything. So once again, you can't blame the artists for people killing people,
right,
and drug addictions, or any kind of mind fuckery that they got going on with themselves. What you can do is blame these motherfuckers who play this shit like it's normal. You blame them motherfuckers because you got a job, and your job is to not fuck these kids up like that. You feel me? There's all kinds of rules about what kind of movies you can show to who, what kind of songs you can play. You know what I mean? These people are totally done thrown all this shit out the window. And and this is the one good thing, but it's a bad thing. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing. It's a bad thing because there's a lot of black people that seem to be always having to have moral consciences about what we're doing.
That's true.
You feel me? That's one thing. I don't know if I said that was good or bad, but it always seems like we always are held to task on certain things. You feel me?
We're held to a certain level of accountability.
And Too Short is fine. It's nothing wrong with Too Short. It's nothing wrong with Luke. It's nothing wrong with any of that. You feel me? But they don't get invited to motherfucking the Soul Train Awards and shit. You feel me? I mean, they don't get invited, the Grammys. They don't get invited to the Grammys and shit. You feel me? Why? Because you don't quantify that music in the same place as this shit that you play to the mainstream.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
I understand.
There needs to be this barrier between what the fuck is shown to everybody and what people can do. Right. You can do anything, but you can't show everything to everybody. I got kids. I don't do that stupid shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not that I can't appreciate it, but if I'm in my car and some shit come on, yeah, bitch, I want you to suck. God damn, that's on the radio? That's all I'm saying. God damn, that's on the radio?
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate that response. I also noticed, early on, having to deal with, financial things after the fact, where maybe you weren't cognizant of from the beginning. I mean, we talked about you guys splitting your money 3 ways and, holding yourselves accountable in that way. But were you all taking care of the business or just focusing on the creative? And what would you say to a young producer, what they should do to make sure that they get theirs and that they, aren't getting in any type of trouble after the fact for taxes and et cetera?
Okay. Well, yeah, that's 3 parts. It's one part. Yeah, the tax part is easy.
Okay.
Pay your taxes. That's easy. You know what I'm saying? The second part of that is, I think you were saying something about
just handling the
were
business.
you guys handling your business or were you focused on your creativity? Yes, we focus on our creativity but you got it. It's music business. The business part is longer. That word is bigger than the word music. It's got more letters in it, so you got to pay more attention to it. Okay. Aside from that, the industry is different now. There's so many other ways for you to make money without having to sign over so much of yourself to someone or something. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Mm-hmm. But what people have to do now, I mean, there's a lot of people, young kids now, they probably think that it's easy as fuck. You feel me? Because it seems like you do some shit in your house and then it's out and it's up and then you're a millionaire. There's so many steps between you doing something and somebody else buying it or even receiving payment for what you do.
Right.
You feel me? Mm-hmm. That it would behoove anyone who is trying to be in the music industry to learn business first. My kids right now, you know, they say, Dad, we want to do what you do and all of this. I'm like, well, you can do music forever. Mm-hmm. You feel me? It's just a form of creative expression. Mm-hmm. You don't have to monetize that. You can learn that at any point in time in your life and make money from it. What you have to learn is how to deal with people and how to focus on your concern and not let what they say get in the way of you taking care of yourself. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day. It seems bad, but if your heart is good, you're not malicious and vicious against others. Right. If you are consumed with your safety in any business venture that you do with them. Right. You feel me? If your heart is good, you're straight. If you wicked, then you'll use wickedness on everyone. And that's an exploitative person. You feel me? I'm not talking about that person. I'm talking about
the good person.
Yeah, well, the person who isn't into exploiting others. Right. They're totally into exploiting themselves. See, if you're controlling it, then you can be a stripper. If you're not controlling it, you're being pimped. That's the difference.
That's true. That's very true. I wanted to ask you, because we probably should have started here, but you all were like the first client of Patchwerk, from back.
One of the
first clients of Patchwerk. But more like notable in terms of like, now where you are. Mm-hmm. So you see a lot of the plaques in here that you've had a great deal to do with a lot of these records. Talk about your relationship with Patchwerk early on, how y'all linked up and how, y'all started working here. Well, not here, but the original spot.
Like I said, we try to be socially conscious. So a lot of what Ray Murray was about in the beginning and still is. Mm-hmm. But not necessarily the same way. But in the beginning, it was all about empowering Black people, making sure that we connect. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Aside from most of the major studios in Atlanta, there weren't, I don't think that had any Black people running them. You feel me? I don't know if that was a major consideration for Patchwerk, but it did add to some of the good shit when we found out that my man was Bob Whitfield, you feel me, had the studio. And it's like, damn, man, let's go there. Fuck
right, right.
Let's go see him. Yeah. He's Black. Let's fuck with Black people. You feel me?
Yeah.
It's great that, like I said, this is another reflection on how you can be for people before they are people that people recognize. Exactly. You feel me? You can invest in people that are investing in themselves. I believe in that wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So our relationship with Patchwerk has always been good. You know what I'm saying? It was just, they were open to do business with some young Black brothers. They were young Black brothers and we were young Black brothers. We moved forward in changing the landscape of Atlanta music together.
We touched on the fact that you were able to tell your story with the Art of Organized Noize, which is out. You guys make sure you check it out if you haven't. It's a great documentary. Since the documentary, how have you been able to like elevate and like continue to, evolve as Organized Noize? Because I know I've seen y'all do more press stuff after that. You're like on the radio again and you're back in these streets.
On the radio again.
Again, as in like doing interviews. Y'all weren't, prior to the documentary, out at the stations like doing interviews for real. I feel like you're open to more of those opportunities. You sat down with me even to talk about your story. So how have you continued to elevate and like just progress as Organized Noize?
Have we continued to progress?
Yeah, continue to progress.
As Organized Noize. Okay, well, Last year we did Janelle Monáe. I like that, which is a great record. We also worked on a bunch of albums that haven't quite come to light yet. A couple of writers we work with, you know what I'm saying, as well as finishing Big Boy album that we just did, the Boomerverse. You feel me? That came out the year before last. And we're in the process of working on a couple of different projects. One of them is the Dungeon Family album. Another one is a Big Sleepover album, which is a Big Boy and Sleepy collaborative album.
I love that.
You feel me? As well as we got the culmination of what was supposed to come with the Art of Organized Noize, which is a 4-part album.
Yeah.
Which is like songs that we've done that didn't come out, as well as new music. So we have songs with Scar, you feel me, from Outkast, and we have songs with Corrupt, Big Boy, of course. Got a couple songs, a couple of hidden jewels with a couple people we know. You know what I'm saying? I got a SZA record that we did that I thought was great, and I'm gonna talk to my man over there at TDE, make sure we can use it.
Yeah.
We got some Talib Kweli. We got a Snoop record. And just got a lot of things that we've done over time.
Yeah, for sure.
And one thing that we tried to make sure was that some of the music that didn't come out, hopefully it's timeless.
Yeah.
You feel me? There's a lot of effort put into music that you don't necessarily recognize because it seems to be something simple, simplistic. Like, for instance, Janelle Monáe. It might seem real simple when you listen to it. Yeah, I like that. It might seem real simple, but there's a lot of space given, and that space is a thing in itself.
Yeah.
You feel me? Because that's music.
Why is that important though? Like for the artist to have, for the producer to recognize that they need to leave room for the artist.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Because you can a beat we did it all. We didn't overproduced and underproduce. I think appearing to underproduce is better than overproducing because it allows the artists the space to reveal themselves. You feel me? Without a whole bunch of costume and makeup, and that can sometimes be effects and shit that the track is doing. You can just really appreciate songs.
Right.
So that's where we're at right now. In Organized Noize timeline, we're about songs now. We're about timeless events, not just, disco records.
Something to make you feel for time. I appreciate that. So any last, you've given a lot of gems already, but any last words of advice to an inspiring artist or producer that might be listening to this?
Don't listen to what they say to you. Do your shit. Stay focused on your craft. You can always do better. More importantly, pay attention to your health. Like, it's a lot of cats that I came up with who I'm a lot older than them, but they're not together. And it radiates not only in their physical, but in their mental health. You feel me? So you got to take care of yourself. Don't beat yourself up about shit that you didn't do. Just do it.
You got today.
Well, just do it.
Just do it.
You don't have to be on dope or none of that shit to be wild. You just be a wild motherfucker. Just be that. You feel me? Don't use the drugs or the other shit as an excuse or a way to get to that alternative way of thinking. Just use that brain that you got, you feel me? And explore yourself. There's a lot of development that we can do as creatives that is up to us to do.
Yeah.
It's not up to others to show us anything. It's about what we do.
Yeah.
And when you're not worried about what others feel about what you're doing, man, you're going to influence more people than when you're trying to do something for somebody.
Absolutely. Great words from my dude, Ray, right here on the IdOMUSIC podcast. Tell them where they can find you on social media.
Dungeonese, DUNGEONEZE, everywhere.
Absolutely. And as always, you guys can find this podcast at IDM Podcast on social media, as well as myself at Sammy Approved on all platforms. Thank you again, Ray.
Thank you.
Sonically superior.